Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Last year I bought this Bald Cypress at Tropical Expressions. It was out of season, so I've never repotted it. So today I'm going to get it in bonsai soil and a bonsai pot for the first time. I've already done the pruning on this tree. I did this over the winter. I took a lot off the top, creating a new trunk line with a bit of taper to it. You can see the leaves are coming out on the tree now. And you can also see it's full of weeds in the pot. So I want to get it in fresh bonsai soil, a larger pot to grow the tree a bit stronger over the summer. I've got this old plastic training pot that I think will be a good size for this tree. So let's get it out of the pot now. All right, here I go. I don't know where to grab this. I don't want to rub any buds off the trunk. I think here. Just give it a pull. There we go, look at all those roots. I'll get out my root rake and start combing out the soil and the weeds. So these Bald Cypress, they can get a really nice buttress root base. So that's what I'm after, is to get the roots kind of sorted out and then hopefully grow a really nice kind of radial root system and create a nice Bald Cypress tree. And this is the first Bald Cypress I've owned. I thought I had another one, but it turned out to be, I think, a Dawn Redwood. And it didn't make it through the winter. That was before I had my nice greenhouse here. And yeah, it just didn't make it through the winter. It was too cold a winter, and it didn't survive. So far I'm seeing surface roots up here, but the trunk or cutting is going down further. So there may be, better roots below. We will see. So I'm just carefully combing out the roots, getting rid of all that old soil. So these Bald Cypress in the summer, they love lots of water, so it's a good idea, just like willows, to put a tray of water underneath the pot so it can have a good source of water. They are thirsty trees. Now, I think, just like the willows, they would use the water to cool the tree down, evaporating it from the leaves to, just cool the tree down. Now, I'm starting to see some really twisted and tangled roots down below here, and quite a root system. So I'm glad I'm starting this tree young, because I can sort these roots out and then grow it slowly over the years. If this was left in this pot for another, 3 to 5 years, I think I'd just have a ball of roots there that would fuse together, and it would be, really, really hard to bring it back to a nice radial root system. So a lot of my trees I like starting with young trees if I can, and then get the root system sorted out and then grow the tree slowly over the years, and you end up with a really nice tree in the end. Rather than going for size right away. Sometimes, the bigger trees have more of their faults kind of fused or established in the tree, and it's harder to correct them. The younger trees, it's easier to correct them from an early stage. Okay, I think I'm ready to wash the roots. They are really, really tangled. So into the pail it goes. All right. We got fresh snow last night outside. So we're still into the snowy weather here. Wow, what a tangled mass of roots here. Those white roots that were intertwined in here were from a weed. And you can see the root system isn't active yet, so the tree is still dormant. Just starting to break dormancy now. Okay, I think that's got the roots as clean as I can get them. Let's begin the root pruning. So here's the root system I have. So I can see, you know, some very thick roots. One comes out here and it curls. Where does it curl? It curls underneath here. There's some other ones that start here and curl around. So yeah, not a very good root system on this tree. They're all tangled and curled around. So what do I do here? I could cut them all off using these upper roots to start the tree, start a good root system on the tree, and I think that's what I'll have to do. The other option is just to let all these roots fuse and kind of have a weird texture on the lower trunk, and I don't want that. I want this to, you know, grow into a nice specimen tree if I can. So I'm going to have to cut off all these these tangled roots. They're just, I can't use them. So let's get out the ratcheting pruners. Here's the ratcheting pruners. They have a very thin blade and they make very accurate cuts. So I'm going to have to get all my radial roots out of the way because I don't want to cut through those. And I'm going to start down here. Here I go. So I'm using a bit of the flare from those thick roots. So here I go, a big cut coming up. Like that. There's the shape of the root system. Interesting. Yeah, so there's my big ball of tangled, knotted roots. You know, you just couldn't sort those out. They're just too far gone. There's undercut here. They're just horrible, is what the word is. So here's what I'm left with. So I'm left with a meager root system, but I think it's strong enough that the tree will survive, and I will prune off some of these to keep them going in a radial direction. I don't want to create more tangled roots. Okay, that's about it for the root pruning. That is quite a severe root system, but I think there's enough left there that the tree will do fine. So let's get the tree potted up now. I'm rethinking my choice of pots. I was originally going to put in this plastic training pot, this rectangular one. I'm thinking it would be better in a larger pot. Usually I try and match the pot with the root system, but on this Bald Cypress they love water. So if I put it in a large pot, the soil will stay wet around it until the roots grow into that soil, and it'll keep the root system pretty happy. The clay pot also helps with the cooling of the tree. You get evaporation off the clay and it keeps the root system a little cooler. I think the Bald Cypress will like that. And it's a round pot, so I think I'll grow a nice even radial root system, whereas the rectangular pot, I'll get longer roots on the length of the pot and shorter roots sideways. So I think this will be a better choice of a pot. I think if the tree recovers and grows this summer, it'll be really happy growing in this pot. So that's the pot I'll use. This pot also only has one drainage hole in the bottom, so I got some screen for it. I'll fill it up with a base layer of soil and then plant the tree. I think that's full enough. I can plant the tree now. Okay, little tree. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the pot. Like that, vertical. And then I'll fill it in with soil. So the roots will be buried fairly deeply in the pot. I'm in no rush to expose those roots. Okay, this is all looking good. Now I will work that soil into the roots just a bit. Even though there's hardly any roots on the tree, I just want to make sure there's no air pockets. Tree feels pretty firm in there. And I'll just fill it up a bit more with soil, kind of mounding it around the base of the tree, just to keep those roots nice and moist. Okay, that is good. So I'll give the tree a water now. All right, here I go with the water. So this pot, you know, you have to tip it up to get that drainage hole unblocked. If it's on a flat surface, the water has a harder time getting out. Seems to be coming out okay here. There's a bit of a relief in the bottom of the pot. But on a wooden bench, it's fine. It drains really, really well. To help stop evaporation from the surface of the soil, I'm going to put my layer of sand on top also. It kind of acts like a layer of moss, keeping the moisture in the soil so it doesn't dry out so fast on windy days. All right, here I go with the sand. So the sand, if it does dry out the sand, you have to kind of pre-wet it before you water the tree. Once the sand is wet, it waters just like any other tree or just like any other soil surface. And the sand is a good indicator as to when the soil is dry underneath. When the sand goes a light color, you know it's time to water the tree. If the sand is still a nice, you know, dark, moist color, then the tree doesn't need water. Okay. Let's water the tree once again. Here I go. That should do nicely. Here is a look at my tree, or my stick in a pot. So you can see the big chop on the top of the tree there, the new branches forming on it, the new leader. Here is a look at the tray that I've got placed underneath the pot here. So in the summer, I can just keep that tray filled with water, and both the soil and the clay pot will suck up the water and keep the tree nicely hydrated and nicely cooled. The steps that I took today on this tree are a little risky, you know, cutting off that much of the root system. I have reduced the top of the tree and the root system quite a bit this winter, so I think the chances of it surviving are quite good. I think it had enough of a root system, and I've reduced the top enough that the root system versus the foliage on the tree will kind of be in balance. I'd give the chances of survival of this tree probably 75 to 90% is my guess. We'll see in the future how it does. So that is all for today. I've taken a chance on this tree while it's young, and I haven't got much work into it. I've cut that root system off, and now it can grow a really nice radial root system, getting a nice buttressed root system on this Bald Cypress. And as I say, I get this work done when the tree is young, when you haven't got any work into it. Take the chance on the tree. If it lives, you've got a fantastic root system underway. If it dies, well, then you get another tree and you try again. Getting a nice root system on a Bald Cypress is really important, because that's what they're known for, is these beautiful buttress surface roots, and kind of generally they grow them in a flat top canopy or a conical type form. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.